April 10th, 2020 was a cold spring day in Heartland, Vermont. About 30 degrees was the high for the day. And as I think back to April 10th of 1991, the day before our second game, the first of our minor league games in Reno, Nevada, it wasn't much warmer. Not very spring-like for our introduction to minor league baseball. If I had one word to summarize my recollection of Reno, Nevada, the first of 152 stops in the minor leagues, that word was cold. We were pretty jacked up on adrenaline after leaving Oakland and saying goodbye to our friends Tim and Christine, so we started driving Interstate 80 east, and we didn't stop until we pulled off the highway in the town of Davis, about 80 miles to the northeast. We found a quiet street and slept in the back of the van for a few hours, but as I recall, we were awakened by a policeman tapping on the window, and so we were off and headed toward Reno again as the sun was coming up. Not surprisingly, we got to Moana Stadium, spelled like but pronounced differently than the popular movie, long before anyone else arrived that day, and we napped in the parking lot on a bright and sunny, but very windy and cold morning. Moana Stadium was demolished 8 years ago and stopped playing in the California League just one season after we visited. Truth be told, the ballpark probably isn't much missed. Reno is now home to a AAA team, the Reno Aces, that play in what looks like a lovely downtown ballpark near the city strip. Moana, on the other hand, was in a residential neighborhood a few miles south. Many stadiums we saw in 1991 no longer exist, but the Reno Silversox were an even more rare breed that year. They were one of a small handful of teams that were independent, clubs playing in the affiliated minor leagues, the National Association, but without a parent club that stocked the team with players. Independent teams were responsible for signing and paying their own players, as well as all the other elements of baseball operations. And in one of the rare interviews I actually did, although I planned to do many, I spoke with Jack Patton, the general manager of the Silversox, about what that was like.
What is it like every summer? Well, I was in here this afternoon. You got a call from a dad someplace, I guess, who wanted to find a place for his son. What's it like being the general manager of an independent squad?
Well, it's got its ups and downs. The upside is it's fun to be like a miniature George Steinbrenner and be able to control the players and sell them and release them, that type of thing. But then it's also very time-consuming. That a lot of that time I could be spending to promote the ball club, and it's also very tough to tell a player that it's the end of his career, that he can't help us or really can't help another club. And it's tough, like you mentioned, the phone call from the father today. It's tough to tell a father that his kid just can't make it anymore.
The temperature was hovering around 40, and the wind whipped around the empty stadium as we filmed it. I've left the sound in for a bit. That clicking sound you hear is the lens cap blowing against the side of the camera. Amazingly, though, as the afternoon wound down, people started to show up. It was opening day, after all, and this is Fred Bartlett, who had shown up with a couple of buddies to tailgate.
Right.
Do you have, you don't have season tickets, you just come to a lot of games?
Yeah, my work schedule fluctuates a lot, so I can come whenever I can.
Now, the weather out here is not exactly warm.
No, it hasn't been too conducive for baseball here the last few days. This typical opening night. Yeah, but it's good for it. Counterman out. Yeah.
So, what are you planning on cooking here?
Well, I just got some dogs, got some hot chili, keep warm. Mark here, he's got some burgers. He's frying them up. What do you guys see? You got a barbecue.
You gonna stay if it's 7-1 at the end of the game?
You bet. Balls get up here, get in the loft, man. The jet stream would just take them. So I see some long balls tonight. That's what we look forward to.
Oregon, number 5, Jim Jones. Batting ninth and catching. From Kokomo, Indiana, number 32, Rick Steiner. And pitching for the Sox tonight, warming up in the left field bullpen, from Seattle, Washington, number 27, Lonnie Phillips.
California League is the highest level of Class A, just below AA, and players in this league routinely make it through the 2 remaining minor league levels to get to the majors. Pat Rapp, the starting pitcher that night for the visiting San Jose Giants, went on to win 70 games over several seasons in the majors, and Clay Bellinger, the starting shortstop for the Giants, also had a solid major league career. But that being said, after watching the likes of Jack Morris, Kirby Puckett, Dave Stewart, and Ricky Henderson the night before, the level of play was a little jarring. The teams made 5 errors between them, and despite the fact that Fred's prediction about the jet stream went awry and there were no home runs in the game, they still scored 20 runs between them. To be fair, it was literally freezing. There was a snow delay and 2 others to change out frozen bases. The game lasted more than 4 hours, and I can't say for sure why we don't have any video of the game later that evening. Skeptics might think that we left early, but I seem to recall that our video camera battery kept dying since we hadn't been able to charge it after the night before, and it was also just too darn cold to shoot. The game eventually did end. The Giants prevailed in a 13-7 victory with a very hearty few left in the stands, and with a chain-up mandate to get back across the Donner Pass to California, we broke down on just our second night and stayed in the cheap, but well beyond our budget, motel. The final in Game 2, San Jose Giants 13, Reno Silversox 7.